get you a live update then on those taxi negotiations going on in the Western Cape tonight. Go live to Cape Town, bring in our reporter Nasiphi Same. Nasiphi was supposed to get a briefing, an update from Santaco this morning. It moved to the afternoon. We're still waiting. What's the reason for the delay?
The reason for the delay is that talks and negotiations still continue between mother body Santaco, the taxi industry and government. And about 10 minutes ago, the minister, including her team, walked out of that meeting of Santaco. We understand that at this present moment, the taxi industry is meeting and talking amongst themselves to find a solution in regards to what happens tomorrow. Do they extend the stay away that was announced last week, or do they resume operations? And as we heard from the secretary of, or rather the chairperson of Santaco in the Western Cape, Mandla Hermanus, is that they fear what he described as a lion's den, taking into account the statements that were made last week in regards to the taxis, or rather the buses and trucks that were torched, and that 25 vehicles will be impounded, or minibus taxis will be impounded for every truck or bus that was torched, and actually lost count as to how many buses have been torched. And not too long ago, receiving news that protest action has erupted in Langa, and we understand that it has been about 24 hours since protest action has erupted in the CBD, hence why we heard the announcement, or rather the message from the mayor, that when there is calm, they are more than willing to engage with the taxi industry in regards to mapping and finding a long-lasting solution in regards to the impasse that is currently facing the two parties.
Any indication, though, Nasiphi, that they're edging closer in that direction? Because today, when there was the prayer service in Cape Town, we did see the Mayor, Jordan Hill-Lewis, and Mr. Hermanus from Santaco exchanging a few words. It looked pleasant enough. Does that suggest that they are walking in the same direction at this stage?
Well, it did seem like they were exchanging pleasantries. At some point, we heard some giggles in the few minutes where they engaged privately inside the St. George's Cathedral. However, Hermanus going as far as saying that they are yet to at least meet on common ground with government or local government in regards to the demands that they have. And as you remember, those impoundments are at the center of the tension between government, local, provincial, and the taxi industry in the Western Cape. And basically, commuters, I would assume, are sitting on edge, waiting to hear what the announcement is for tomorrow, whether or not they should be waking up and heading to the taxi rank, or making alternative or rather making use of alternative modes of transport tomorrow. However, we are yet to hear from the mother body Santaco in regards to what exactly the minister said to them and where to from here in regards to the decision that they took, because there is a possibility that they could extend the stay away.
And Nasiphi, you mentioned earlier a sense of unrest or unease, if you will, in areas such as Langa and in the CBD yesterday. Do we know who is actually doing the protesting in those areas, and whether it is indeed taxi strike related or perhaps opportunistic incidents about other issues?
Well, interesting that you touch on the opportunistic elements, is that the city has called on Santaco not only to release statements in distancing themselves, but to go onto the ground and speak to commuters and engage with various community organizations. However, they're also highlighting that when there is a taxi strike, this is Santaco, that when there is a taxi strike, you do see criminal elements or third forces entering the fray and taking advantage rather of the situation. They have previously indicated that should any taxi operator be involved in the protesting or the torching of buses or the violence we've seen, they will not hesitate to use their code of conduct to discipline their members.
Nasiphi Same, thank you very much for that. Nasiphi, watching the taxi strike discussions, talks in fact, happening in the Western Cape tonight. Nasiphi, thank you very much. As soon as we get word of a briefing from Santaco, we'll bring it to you live here